don't make the mistake I did initially and what a lot of other tradespeople do, which is getting an apprentice first. As it's Luke here from the Tradie marketing agency, and today I wanted to talk about your first hire. So when you're going from sole trader to you're starting to look at building your team, you got to look at putting somebody on to help you out. And a common mistake a lot of tradies do is they think, oh, I will go with the cheapest option, which is a apprentice, not realizing the pitfalls of this approach. You see, basically, your first few hires, you're actually more looking to free up your time so that you can work on the other business aspects. Like you're already working a lot and you're trying to put on somebody else to help with the workload. Putting on a apprentice first has the opposite effect because, well, one, it doesn't actually free up any time. Your time is spent training them, and they're not yet competent enough to be left on site by themselves. So they then have to like come with you when you're doing quotes or things like that, or just be left to very basic things. But it's a bit risky because they don't know much about the field, and more likely to make mistakes. The second thing, like the second problem with it is because you've put on staff, you're actually going to be getting through the work quicker, which is the reason why you do it. But it also means that you're going to have to do even more marketing and even more quotes to keep up with the demand, which again is a problem if you've actually got to bring the apprentice along because obviously they're not working. Whereas, like say with a qualified tradesman as your first hire, they already know what they're doing. You can leave them on site. The work's getting done even when you're not there. And then it allows you to focus on actually growing your business. So don't make the mistake I did initially and what a lot of other tradespeople do, which is getting an apprentice first. Also, if you get a qualified person first, you could potentially then hire a apprentice next, and your qualified will teach them for you. So again, it's about like as business owners, when we're running a business, we are the chief bottleneck. So anytime all of our time gets consumed, we can't work on growing the business. So the name of the game is to free up your personal time. I wanted to touch quickly as well just on the income side of things, right? Because a lot of guys, they only look at the cost of a thing, but not the revenue production of the thing. So, for example, say like an apprentice is $25 an hour, and a qualified is, say, $35 an hour. On paper, that seems like the apprentice is the better fit because they're cheaper. But you've got to think about it in terms of how much they're actually producing. Like, the qualified, say, if they produce 1 unit of work for one of their hours, an apprentice is probably producing about, 0.25%. Like 0.25 of a work unit, for that. So really, in order to produce one work unit, it actually requires 4 hours of the apprentice's time for 1 hour of the tradesman's hour. So when you multiply that out, even though they're on $25 an hour, effectively they're costing you $100 an hour to produce one work unit as opposed to the $35 an hour qualified. So that's like another thing to consider as well, is how much revenue you're actually producing off these. So if I was to start again, I would first off I'd hire one awesome tradie who can work pretty independently, and then I'd probably hire an additional 2 qualifieds as well, before hiring an apprentice, just because it is fairly labor intensive, and you also need to get up to that place where you've got enough different types of work going, so that there's a lot of basic tasks there that you can actually make use of your apprentice doing. Because if you don't have a big enough team, you're just not going to have enough, jobs going where you can give them those low value tasks. If you don't do this, you'll quickly get through the low value tasks, and then they'll just be sitting there because they're not yet skilled enough to tackle some of the more complex stuff as well. So, yeah, that's it for today's lesson. But as always, if you want a hand with your digital marketing, reach out to us at the Tradie Marketing Agency.com.au, and we'll give you a quick run through of different ways that we can bring more leads for your business.